a guy who played quarterback a long time in the National Football League. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's Carson Palmer. He joins us on Fox Sports Radio. Carson, I've told a lot of people that your second year starting is harder than your first year starting. Now, you redshirted your first year, right? But your second year actually starting because now they give you the whole playbook, and yet you've still only really started for a year, and yet everybody has your tendencies and tries to pick you apart. Did you think your first year, second year starting was more difficult?
I personally thought my first year was, just because it's a new league, it's a new speed, it's new everything. Year two, you should start to settle in a little bit, but you're right. I mean, teams have a whole season of Baker and a whole, a Rolodex of all the different certain plays he likes to do in the red zone, certain plays he likes on third down, what he's been successful with, what he's been unsuccessful with. So there's definitely a little bit of a roadmap, to the tendencies that certain players have in year two. But there's nothing like that first opportunity in that first year where you get thrown in there and you got to go out and play. And, he played really well, obviously, in year one. And I think year two, there have been some tendencies that have been exploited and seen by different defensive coordinators and teams. And one of the things is he likes to roll out to his right. He's really comfortable out to his right. So trying to keep him in the pocket has been something that teams have really focused on. And until he beats teams from the pocket, people are still going to force him to move his feet. So when he's moving his feet, like you saw last night, where he had to avoid Joey Bosa a little bit and left that ball a little bit underthrown that Richard Sherman picked off. When he moves his feet, he's especially inaccurate and has struggles in that area. Yeah,
it's interesting. I mean, obviously you and your brother Jordan's joined us as well. You guys study and know, and both have played the quarterback position in the NFL. One of the things that's kind of lost is, like, you were a great athlete, right? You're like 6'5", like a 4'6" guy. Like whereas he's 5'11", 4'8" guy, right? Like, not a great body, not huge hands. And what happens is, like, everyone talks about intangibles, which are important, but so are tangibles. And, off balance, off platform throws, sometimes you can't make if you're a little bit smaller and you're not necessarily as strong. Is that a fair depiction of some of the things that he's going through?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look back at that draft class that he was in. You had Sam Darnold, who, unbelievable athlete, phenomenal inside the pocket. You had Josh Allen, who is maybe one of the more athletic quarterbacks to come out other than Lamar Jackson. A big physical guy that's led his team in rushing as a rookie. And now Josh is off to a great start in Buffalo. And obviously Lamar Jackson, a tremendous athlete, a ton of speed. Baker was kind of, the shortest, slowest, not quite the zip on the ball and accuracy that Josh Allen has, and not quite, the accuracy that Sam Darnold's had. So it was obviously throwing. I mean, when everybody saw he went number one and all those guys didn't, it was alarming, and it was a big bet that Cleveland made to take him number one and pass up on the extremely high ceiling that Josh Allen has, and pass up on all the athleticism that you saw Sam Darnold have at USC. And then Lamar's film was unbelievable from college. So to see him get drafted at number one, it looked like a reach, and it still is looking like a little bit of a reach right now with the success that Lamar and Josh Allen have had.
Let me ask you about Jameis Winston. He's, of course, working with Bruce Arians. You worked with BA when you were in Arizona. He helped kind of resurrect your career and in kind of the last incarnation of what you were doing. What do you see Jameis Winston improving upon since he's worked with BA and his staff?
Well, I don't think there's enough of a sample size to really see it yet. I mean, they've only played 5 games, and really, in anybody that goes into Bruce's offense, the first couple weeks, really the first year of the system, it's such a difficult system. It is advanced in every way, even when you're talking about the NFL. I mean, it's so different than college, and so much more complicated than any other or most offenses in the NFL, because there's so many formations, so many shifts, so many adjustments. There's so much on the quarterback's plate because there's a lot of empty formations where you've only got 5 guys blocking for you. So it's really hard to judge Jameis right now, being so, really in the first quarter of the season. But, I mean, if anybody can resurrect his career and get him on the right path, it's Bruce. It's his system. It's his way of coaching. And I'm really excited to watch Tampa play throughout the year. I mean, they've got they've had a pretty decent start. You know, they smashed the Rams a couple weeks ago. They had a really ugly early loss that you kind of saw coming, just knowing that it's a new system and new staff. But watch for that team to take off here as we get in the second half of the season.
What do you think of Dak Prescott?
Well, I think at some point Dallas is going to pay him. You know, it's obviously between 25 and 35 a year. But if I'm Dak, and I said this before, if I'm Dak, you have a chance to be the Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback for a long time if you sign a long-term deal there. You'll make up whatever money you give up in order to keep your salary cap number down so that you can continue to sign Amari Cooper and Zeke and these other guys that they have, because they've drafted really, really well. But I just think Dak's in a spot where, you know, are you going to trust Jerry to spend the money that he's not going to pay you and save from paying you to pay other guys around you? If I'm Dak, I'm taking that chance. You know, I take a little bit less money in order to that money that I would give up would go to receivers and tackles and centers and guards and defensive ends and all of that. Because he'll obviously make the money in marketing and outside. I mean, just look at a couple of years ago, all the major networks had a Dallas Cowboy, whether it's Troy Aikman or Romo or Jason Witten. It pays to be a Cowboy, so you can make up that money on the back end at the end of your career and whatever career you head into after football. But you can also make endorsements off the field.
Carson Palmer joining us in the Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio. All right, so you're in on this CBD. You got a CBD oil, right?
Correct. Level Select CBD. It's a phenomenal product that I found a handful of years ago, and it's something I use on a daily basis. It's something that I need on a daily basis after playing for 15 years and having multiple surgeries and just being in constant pain and constant soreness. And it's something that has enabled me to continue to play with my kids and wrestle and fight and play sports and ski and do all the things I like to do.
You mean fish, right?
And fish.
Yes.
And absolutely. Getting on the river in some waders and getting my fly rod in hand and heading into the woods is one of my favorite things to do. And Level Select is something that's definitely helped me and improved my life after football. And if you're interested, you can log on at selectmylevel.com and buy it right now online. And we're hoping to, in the future, be in major stores and be more available.
All right. It's like fascinating. The CBD thing is fascinating because people hear, you know, it's marijuana and they don't realize that it's the non-hallucinogen part of marijuana, right? Like it's like you kind of got to educate people because some people are still a little bit in the dark about it.
Right, and what's the truth about it is it's actually not marijuana at all. It's hemp. It's derived from hemp. So if anybody does have any confusion, and it is a confusing subject because it is so new and it's been so popular so fast. But there is no drug in it whatsoever. I think you're going to really start seeing it explode in the sports scene. You're going to start seeing it in NFL locker rooms and MLS locker rooms and NBA locker rooms. It is not a drug. It is a medicine. And I got into it because I had a vet that prescribed it for my dog that was, you know, at year 12, my German Shepherd named Nemo couldn't get in and out of his dog bed. And I saw the effects it had on him, and I said, wait a minute, let me try this. And it's been something, like I said, that has really improved my life. It's improved my sleep. I use it before I go to bed. I have a little bit of an arthritic hip that keeps me up at night. And it's something I use and started to use so that I was falling asleep and sleeping through the entire night. So it's an amazing medicine. Level Select is a name and a brand that you can trust, and that was one of the things that jumped out at me is there's so many out there, and you don't know exactly what's in them. Well, Level Select is 100% pure. They set the industry standard on production and knowing exactly what goes into it. Everything that's into it is on the casing and on the product. So it's a brand you can trust and feel confident in.
Well, yeah, and the only issue is that you like dog food now because you're using your dog's CBD oil. Carson Palmer, our guest on the Doug Gottlieb Show. I got a rant on Sam Darnold. I'm of the Sam Darnold convert. I'm not converted. I believed in him since he first came on the field at USC. How close does he have a good enough team around him this year to be what many people think he can be?
I don't think they have a good enough team. I don't think outside they have the weapons they need to compete and be in the playoffs year in, year out. I mean, you've got Le'Veon Bell. You've got a good, fast, explosive defense. You've got a pretty good offensive line. And Sam's good enough to overcome some of those deficiencies. But in order for them to be a Super Bowl contender, they have to continue to add pieces around Sam. He's an unbelievable talent. He can absolutely spin it. His pocket awareness is as good as anybody I've seen since maybe Tom Brady. He moves so well and fluidly in the pocket. He's always on balance. He's always in a position to be able to throw an accurate ball. So I'm really excited that he's finally cleared, and hopefully he has this mono issue behind him.